Hello and welcome back to Mama with Tools. We are venturing into another Valentine's craft today. One that I will show you two different ways, one with tools, one without tools. But remember, we're just getting familiar with tools, some crafting, some minor home repair, home maintenance with tools, so you're not always dependent on somebody else and get a little more familiarity with just some basic hand tools. I do have bigger tools that use electricity, and we'll talk about those at another time, but for now we're just getting used to some minor tools that we have around our house to do some craft projects or to get familiar and have a little more ease looking through Pinterest and saying, I can adapt that. I don't need all the 50 tools that they just showed. I can do this a simpler way. What we did the last vlog, we showed a craft that my 6-year-old made, and we did it without tools. So there was a modification that we made so that we didn't need a drill, and he was able to complete it himself. The hot glue gun was the only thing I needed to assist with a little bit, just because it is so smoking hot. So we'll show you what he made. So these were the hearts, and we did 3 different sizes. So we had the base, which on Pinterest was a block, and it was drilled. And we just chose a wheel that I found, a craft wheel for a toy that we found at Michael's. Okay, and it already has the hole drilled in there. We went right over to the dowel section and found a dowel rod that fit right inside the hole. Picked that out. We cut that with just kitchen shears. And then the heart was just something, again, pre-made. I think the one probably on Pinterest was cut with a saw. It was a little bit thicker. This one's thin, as you can see, and we just hot glued it all together. Added an embellishment, and he painted the hearts. Simple. You can give that away to someone, or you can decorate a desk or a little spot at home with that. Today we're going to, let me get you set down here. And again, we're just in the workshop in my garage. Today my assistant is Addie, my middle one. She is 10. And again, we're adapting something where you don't need power tools. But we're going to do this very pretty candle block, okay? And it has a little candle that I just got at the dollar store. I did drill a hole. I'll show you that, but we'll also do one without. But just a little dollar store. Oh, I didn't even take the piece out there. A little dollar store candle. Okay, so it's lit up and it'll fit on top, so you can leave them lit or not. Okay, and then we'll embellish the front for Valentine's Day. Now, I'm not a pink and purple person, so for me, just the wooden hearts. I could even put maybe the 3 kids' initials on there, however you want to accent it, or just leave it plain. But we'll show other ways in different kinds of string as well to do this. Okay, so I did use a 4x4 piece of lumber. Let me explain that to you. You might be a little confused. A lot of times, if you're watching home improvement shows, you might hear them say, we're going to build that out of a 2x4. And of course, I didn't grab my 2x4 before I started. Well, let's see. Now, a lot of times on home improvement shows, you'll hear they're building a studded wall with a 2x4. And what that means is the board is approximately 2 inches thick by 4 inches wide. Approximately, because they're not exact. And I'll show you, I have a 1x6 here. So this will be the 1, and then this will be the 6 inches here. Okay? So whenever you measure this, it's not quite 1 inch. Okay? And the 6 inches across is about 5.5. This will be important if you're doing other building supply or other building projects and you need it to be square. Just measure first because it's not going to be exact. And then you get into, this is reclaimed from a pallet, so that's going to be even different, usually about 1 inch, but the widths are usually, across is usually different. So 4x4 also. Will be listed as a 4x4 when you go to a home improvement store to look for them, but again, they're going to be slightly under the 4 inches. Okay, 3.5 by 3.5. Okay, is really what you're getting. Now, to get this home, you're looking at, I want to say probably the shortest is 6 foot in length. Now, you're probably not going to need 6 feet of a 4x4. So, either maybe go in with a couple friends and make this project, or even at the home improvement store, ask them to cut it. A lot of times I see people with bigger sheets of plywood and things like that, and the store will cut it for you. So you have one, a manageable length, but two, you don't have to purchase a saw. This is going to be very labor intensive trying to cut this by hand. It can be done. So if you don't want to do that, I would ask at a home improvement store to have them cut it for you. Now the 3 lengths I have today, now I've done other projects at Christmas time. I paint them white with strips and stripes of red with the candle for Christmas, so they look like candy canes to sell or to give out. So these are kind of the standard lengths I had. I had 3 of them already laying around. But feel free, like I said, if you go to a home improvement store, get your length of wood and maybe ask them to cut it for you so it's not quite so labor intensive. So the 3 lengths I have, the heights are 10 inch, 8 inch, and this one's a little less than 6. Okay, so probably 6 inches would be fine if you wanted to do those. Another place you might want to check for scrap wood is if you have a neighbor that does wood crafts at home. They may have some of these laying around, different lengths, and that doesn't matter. You can make them shorter, you can have them a little bit taller. They would also be able to help you cut them. Another thing to look for when you go, there are 2 types of wood. One's going to be pressure treated. That means it can be outside. So those are the ones that you would use for decking. The wood will be very green, which was this one when I bought it. So this is pressure treated. It was very heavy, it was very wet. So it needed to sit for a while and dry, and as you can see, as it has dried, it's cracking. Okay, so if that doesn't bother you, that's fine. A lot of times they are a little more expensive because they are treated to go outside. The other kind is just regular, and it won't have anything on the tag. It won't say pressure treated. It'll just be a regular piece of lumber. Much lighter, the color is different. Okay, it's not green, it's not yellow. Okay, so those are the differences there. And like I said, home improvement stores are happy to help you cut them. So have maybe the idea of the height. Maybe you have it on a piece of paper so you can see what that looks like, or just kind of eyeball it like I did, 10, 8, and 6 inches tall. Kind of nice heights for different displays. So I'm going to move this one to the side, and so I'm going to have Addie help me here, and we're going to have her paint her 2 blocks because we already have the one prepared, and we will have her do that. Okay, so Addie has her white paint. I have one that's a primer and paint. It just kind of covers the wood better. So it's up to you. I just have a small can, so nothing major. This is, one of the few projects that I do that I'll need white paint. So please don't go out and buy a gallon. Look for the smaller. They even have smaller sizes of paint, which I will get one while she's painting and show you. But if this is all you're going to do, please don't go out and buy a whole gallon of white paint. So here's Addie, and she will go ahead and start painting the blocks. And again, we have paper down to protect the surface from paint drips. One nice thing that home improvement stores, especially the bigger ones, are starting to do, they're starting to sell these wee little containers of paint. You can use tempera paint. Now that would be perfect as well. So the paint that I showed the other day, if you have that paint and that's all you have, it's perfect. You don't need to go out and buy anything expensive. The wood will take that just as easy. She might want the red as well. But just a regular, tempera paint, nothing special. That would cover the white as well. But just a small amount, as it really won't take much if you don't expect to be doing a whole lot of crafts. So we'll let her paint those, and we will be right back. Okay, we are back. We let Addie went ahead and painted her posts, and now they're all dry. So the next step, she is going to paint the wooden hearts. She's using the small, thicker little wooden hearts that we purchased from Michael's. and she is going to use red and purple, I believe. Now this is another reason, excuse me, to have your tabletop covered, because she is going to kind of probably at one point squirt out a little bit of paint right on there to use if you don't have the little cups. And again, little cups I just bought probably at Walmart for dressing, for salad dressing, and so now we're using them for paint projects. They're a perfect size. And the little foam brushes, I think I mentioned needing a foam brush, so she'll just use a really small one. Again, I got a pack, I want to say there were, was it 5? Sorry, I'm reaching over. Oh, there were 9. So there was a 1 inch, a 3 inch, a 1, a 2, and 3 inch pieces. So she's using the 1 inch one now just to paint the little hearts there.
We only have big ones.
Huh?
We only have big ones.
Oh, that's right. And I did, after I said that I usually don't wash them, I've been washing my little sponges, so we have them for the kids. I just like them because, you know, if they do get ruined, if you use a paint that doesn't wash out, or that an oil-based paint that you will need like gasoline or paint thinner to get off the brush, I don't, you know, I'm not keeping that around the kids, so I just do a nice water wash, and then we move on. You want all 4 of these?
No, just, I'm gonna do these. And we only have 1 cup left, so we just put the paint on the paper.
Do with what you have. Nothing, you don't have to spend a lot of money to do crafting. A lot of these things, like I said, you can find the foam brushes at the dollar store. I didn't look today. You might even be able to find the little wooden hearts, especially at Valentine's time. Paint, you can find that there. So this doesn't have to be an expensive project, just something kind of relaxing, and takes a few minutes. I think the longest part was just the drying.
And we're using the paint cover. It's just an oldie bag.
Yeah, just a paper bag that we opened up. So even that doesn't have to be anything expensive. But do cover your work surfaces, even for just the glue gun, because we have, you know, a big spot of glue from our last project that would have been on my workbench and would have driven me crazy. So, okay, so she's painting up the last 2 here. You don't have to do both sides. We're gonna paint it or glue it on there. And again, you can use a wood glue if you like. We're just using a hot glue gun. Elmer's glue, just regular white glue from school that all of us remember. That would hold it on there. But I do like that tight bond for my heavier crafts that are going to be moved or outside and things like that. But this one, again, it would be fine with just a glue gun. They're just going to stay inside and sit on a desk or a shelf. Okay, so Addie has painted her hearts. She has 4 red and 2 purple. And she has chosen her string, which is kind of like the yarn rope that we had. And really, it depends on your look. The yarn that I had, I wrapped around my column a couple times, so obviously I would need more yarn. Just kind of eyeball it. This one, I eyeballed, and it's about, what did I say, 32 inches. She's just going to have it around once and then tied. You can always trim it. Can't add to it, so you can always make it a little bit longer and then decide if it's as long as you want it, or if you want it to be a little bit shorter, you can always do that. Okay, so she just wanted a bow, so we're just going to wrap it around once. And there we have the one with the bow, and she'll stick her hearts on here in a minute. I'll have her do that while I'm doing the second column. Okay, so she is 10, almost 11, so I do trust her with the glue gun a little more than my little guy. So she has done hot glue projects before, so she's going to man that herself.
Multiple school projects have been used,
Yeah.
have been made with hot glue guns. So.
be anything special. It could even be, excuse me, paper cutouts that you glue onto it. It could be foam pieces if you have those laying around. But don't feel that you have to go out and purchase a lot of things. Like I said, the Dollar Tree has, you know, their seasonal things, any of those less expensive places to shop.
So with this one, I just put the red one on the top and then the purple one on the bottom.
Okay, so she did her two. And these two, we're choosing not to use the drill to kind of show you how they turn out. And we'll do two options. Again, one with a votive, which I realized when we started, I don't really have votives. I guess it's, you know, I still don't want to have a lot of candles in my house. So the girls had a votive in their room, so we're using that one. And again, if you wanted to find something fancier, I know we've found things for different little dinners at church and things, and have done, again, the Dollar Tree. So they would have a little more of a selection and not cost an arm and a leg. Okay, and on the hearts, if you wanted to write like conversation hearts, you can easily turn these into conversation hearts, just handwritten with a Sharpie. There we go. Or if you're neat with the paintbrush, you could use a paintbrush. I am not neat, so I would need a Sharpie and probably a stencil. So now to finish off her two columns, we're just going to show the two different options. Again, the little lights come in a 2-pack. And then you're in the camera again. Come in a 2-pack from the dollar store. So $1, and you've got two votive or two little candles there. Addie's creations here, and move back and show you a little bit.
And this one actually had a candle in it.
Yeah,
here's the candle that was in it.
So she has the votive just set on top, okay, and her ribbon on there, the rope ribbon. And then this one is just the candle sitting on top, which looks lovely as well. I do like the finished look of the votive, but that's up to you. This, like I said, this one looks good. And this is the one that I can tell our styles are a little bit different. Mine's just a little more plain. But the candle is recessed in, and that was done with a larger drill, one of the 19.2 volts, with an 1.5 inch. Yeah, and it just fits. We found the 1.5 inch just fits when I did my candy cane lights. It just fits for the dollar store candles there. So an 1.5 inch drill bit, and it is a pretty aggressive drill bit when you go to look for it. You know, maybe your neighbor has a drill and you have to buy the drill bit for them. So it is kind of an aggressive drill bit, and you may want actually a second set of hands on it. It does grip in there really well, so it kind of pulled a little bit on me. Okay, so our second Valentine's craft for you to recreate for your house or for a gift for your desk at work to brighten up and make it a little more cheerful. All done with mostly no tools. There are options where you can kind of jazz it up a little bit. Like I said, the candle can be recessed down into the 4x4 a little bit, but does not have to be. I think the votive is super cute, makes it a little bit easier also for you. So I will list below materials that we use today, so you will be able to have those on hand. And most of them, would say except for the wood, I think you can find almost everything probably at like a dollar discount store or something like that, Dollar Tree, dollar store, and be able to find those inexpensively, but super cute gifts to give out, also fabulous for your desk. But be ready. I think our next video is going to be a home improvement one. We're going to dig into probably one of the appliances that scares me the most, and that is the dryer. The new dryer that we have, or fairly new dryer, has an odd collection where the lint is, and so I have a super easy tool to get down in there and keep that clean, so that all that lint is gone from your machine and you have less of a fire risk. So stay tuned for that. I do have other videos ready to roll, so we'll do some more home improvement things and just using the tools a little bit more. Like I said, you can get a home improvement kit that comes all together, I think even on Amazon, and it would come even in the toolbox all ready for you to use. Or home improvement stores and buy a kit that comes with, I think there were 5 or 6 tools. I got it for $10, a toolbox for $10, and we're set. You can get fancier ones. You can get ones with flowers on them. You get ones that are pink, and then they're yours. You don't have to worry about somebody taking them. We hope you enjoyed today's video. Can't wait to see you again. But Mama with Tools, we can do it. If you're unfamiliar with tools, please stay tuned. I love to help you get more familiar with tools, with different home improvement jobs that you feel like you can't do. Let's try to work through together and get them done so we don't have to wait for that rainy day or whenever our other list gets short enough that we can put that in. 10-15 minutes for most jobs, and we've got it if we have the right tools, the right knowledge, and the right equipment, the things that we need to fix with. So we will have that list for you before any video, but please like and share below. If you have any ideas for future projects or future home improvement tasks that you'd like to do, I'd love to learn myself if I don't know, but I'd love to walk you through anything so that you too can feel comfortable with tools. See you soon. Bye.
Come back next episode for Mama with Tools.